As you said, though, it's all good here. SPY futures pointing to a positive open. Let's find out what's under the hood with Pete McGuire from XM. Pete, goodness me. Okay, the bond market is listening to the Fed, but equities, they seem to be feeling sort of a lot of love. Do they not care about rising rates now?
Well, good morning, Annette. I think they do care about rising rates. There's no doubt about it. But and you've only got to look at the currencies for that. But yeah, equities, they've had a nice bounce last week, and March will go down as one of the most volatile months for many, many years. It's been incredible what we've experienced, and I tend to think we could see a little bit further upside building into Easter.
Yeah, we sure can. And of course, we've got a bit of noise coming up, don't we, Pete? I mean, it's month end, quarter end, Japanese year end. That tends to play havoc with the markets as well.
Absolutely, Annette. Yeah, you'll be seeing squaring of books and all of that sort of thing. There's no doubt that you could see a little bit further movement, and I wouldn't be surprised to see further softness as far as that yen. We're now at 122. What we've experienced this month has gone from 115 to 122. It's been a trader's delight. Have a look what the Aussie's done in the last couple of weeks. It's been dramatic since just before St. Patrick's Day. So, yeah, I think there will be movement, and that's a wonderful a wonderful ingredient for any trader, Annette. We like to see movement, and that certainly hasn't disappointed this month.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just stick with the Aussie for a minute. It's 72 1 minute, 75 the next. What are the technicals telling you right now? They're more likely to stay on the upper end of the range.
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised to even take a 76 handle out. It's just been dramatic over the last 2 weeks, and possibly you'll build from there. Could flatline, give it back a little bit under that 75, but I think that there's further momentum to take it up to 76. So there's the first point, and it's just been incredible what we've seen as far as dramatic moves. So I think that you'll probably see that US dollar maybe strengthen a little bit through that 99 for a US dollar index. We're now just under 99, and that hasn't disappointed either. So, yeah, maybe a little bit further upside for that Aussie in the short run.
And as you probably just heard in my intro, Pete, it's investment banks tripping over each other in the US to keep calling for hikes. Goodness me, maybe someone's going to do 100 in one meeting. What's the rush? What are they seeing, do you think, to call such aggressive tightening out of nowhere?
It's one word, Annette. Starts with I and ends with N. It's called inflation. And that seems to be the great problem that we've got out there. So, yeah, I'd say that inflation is the major concern. And that's really going to be a problem moving forward, how it rolls.
Payrolls week, believe it or not. I mean, it feels like we just blink and we miss it, and we've got payrolls yet again. Is it now for the data to disappoint from here, Pete, with so much aggression on the one side of the trade?
I wouldn't be surprised, Annette. Yeah, it's going to be hard to build from here. And many analysts are saying you're going to see probably a pullback come third quarter and certainly by fourth quarter. And that's the dilemma that all the central bankers are facing as far as growth expectations and possible recessionary fears. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe if this month doesn't come in a little bit softer, certainly building from here over the US summer could be a little bit disappointing for most employers, and certainly what the government's trying to experience.
Now, Pete, let's bring it closer to home. And in your dim, dark, distant memory, Pete, when was the last time the Aussie budget actually moved the needle when it comes to markets?
Well, that's a hard one. I'd say it probably moves some components of the market. And that, I mean, it might move Aussie dollar, it might move bond rates, it might move sentiment, equities. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some movement come Tuesday night, Wednesday morning as far as the Aussie. Equity markets are probably just, we're being fueled along by the US and certainly the Eurozone, and probably a little bit of good news coming from most markets. So, yeah, you probably see a little bit of movement on that Aussie dollar, I'd say, with Frydenberg's comments and, of course, expectations with sentiment for the rest of the week.
It could be upbeat because, I mean, of course, we always get the leaks ahead of the budget, and it sounds like, homeowners are getting some cash, cost of living's getting some cash. I mean, all this cash out there, the RBA must have to stir and react at some stage.
You would think so, Annette. I mean, it's going to be hard for them not to act. with the aggressive rate calling that you're seeing from as you said, the US investment banks, everyone's saying, is it going to be 7? Some people are saying now it's going to be 8 for the rest of the year. And you could see a 50 basis point hike mid-year. So all of that has got to stem into our market here. And obviously we'll see some dramatic lift off with a couple of rate increases, probably third quarter for the Aussies.
And well, just another one this week is we've got Chinese PMIs, and last week and over the weekend, all those flash PMIs were actually much better than expected. If anything, it's been a bit of a head scratcher. Well, that keeps sentiment buoyant as well.
I would say so, Annette. Yeah, they were a little bit better than expected, and that really has taken everyone by surprise. So that overall sentiment moving forward could surprise us and keep on surprising us with a return as far as a rally leading up to Easter for the equity markets. And I think the overall mood is relatively strong out there. So I'm not sure whether we're going to keep that momentum building into May and June, but certainly in April, I wouldn't be surprised to see further uplift as far as equities and certainly possibly the Chinese equities.